finally, I had to get somewhere where there was no sun glare so I can actually see the phone. This is the third video of the day. Oh my god, are we going on a streak? I wouldn't really count the other two because it was just, I don't want to say yapping because I feel like that kind of like negates the things you're talking about in a way, to just be discarded as just like non-informational. But yeah, I wouldn't count those two because it was semi-important, but I feel like I wasn't talking anything with essence, so to speak. But right now, we're trying to get better with the terrain in this neighborhood, so we're walking around. You know, dang, yo, these people got like a bunch of cars. They're mostly American cars, but they're still good though. So wait, is is Corvette American company, right? I swear there was like a movie about that, but I think it was like F1, like Formula Racing, I think, or something. I don't know. But I love movies. Movies, like I wouldn't put movies over books, so to speak. But when it comes to books, you really gotta get into it. And I don't think people like to read, not as oh they're idiots because they don't like to read, mainly because I don't think people have like the attention span and the imagination just to read a book with no images. Don't get me wrong, I'm the type of dude to put comic books over regular books any day. Cause when people say books, they be like, oh, Harry Potter, Moby Dick, um, Tribes of the Last. Like they, you know what I'm saying? Like 12 grader books or anything. But I feel like a book is a book. Don't try to degrade a book because the reading level is different. But I did do some studies though, a little bit about the reading level in America. But we're not. I swear, like, I don't want to talk down on the country that I'm in. Well, obviously, y'all know I speak English, so, but Australians speak English too. A lot of people speak English, but by my accent, you can tell that I'm American. Well, I wouldn't call myself American, but you can tell that I'm American. Uh, but like I don't know. It's just I'm pretty sure like for our reading level, I don't even think we're in the 10th percentile, but we're I think we're I don't know, we're highest in what I wouldn't say negative things, but we're pretty high in things that you would not think we're high in. Like math, reading, and history. It's pretty sucky, but you can't really blame that on the you can't really blame anybody but yourself. I'm all about taking accountability for the knowledge that we intake, but also I feel like people just go and just strictly blame the system. Which don't get me wrong, the system people just put system and it's a vague behind what system. They be like the systematic and they don't even know what they're talking about. They just say the system. Don't get me wrong, yes, you can blame the system all you want. And I yes, the system is a crucial part in our education. And to be honest, I was finna drop out of high school, not thinking I was higher in my brain capacity and I was just super level genius. I was just more of the aware. I was more aware of how this doesn't suit me in the things that I want to do. Like in my mind, I truly think that like school in general is either they don't teach you how to be the boss. They teach you how to be an employee. They teach you how to. You gotta think. I did a study on comparing school to prisons, and I wouldn't know that much because I was only in juvenile, but I compared that to prisons or incarcerations, mainly of the hours, the seat times, the times you get to go out, and then the eating, and then it's the scheduling more than anything, and then incarceration. Even with that, I feel like they don't have leeway in the same aspect school do. But comparing school to prisons is a brash statement, a exaggerated statement that I made into a project for school. But best believe my studies were correct. It's just that I think teachers were biased because I guess it felt like it was an attack on them and their teaching capabilities, and I failed. Well, I didn't fail. I got They said it was a great concept, but I had to redo it. So, but I think this is before I switched schools. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't say any of my teachers truly had an impact on me as I thought it would, because you know how like some some of the most famous people still have teachers they remember. Me on the other hand, I really don't know. I remember every single teacher's names, even the ones from primary school. It's just impact wise, I don't think any of them impact me. I just saw them as a human doing their job. Some love their job to the highest degree, but I don't think it fully impacted me. I thought it would. Maybe because my mind is just like I have a fucked up brain. Literally, like, my mind's fucked. Excuse my language, but yeah. But I still remember like some of the teachers. I even remember the teacher that called me a bum. Uh, I did. I didn't even want to prove myself to him because I didn't really see him as a higher up. He got cooler over there. Like as I got older, he got a little bit chiller. But he was a dickhead when I first moved to that school, and I didn't really want to indulge myself into the school, but like school spirit and shit. Don't get me wrong. Don't drop out of high school. Like how like Robert said, don't do drugs, and they be doing every drug in the universe. I'm not trying to do that to be a hypocritical asshole. It's just I'm telling you, if you don't have a plan and you just want to be a rapper, an influencer, or something under those lines, you have to have some type of education. If you're not talented enough or an intellectual to just drop out, because the artists that dropped out of school already had big songs or already had a plan. If you're dropping out with no plan, then that's a dickhead move. But who am I to judge? Because I was gonna do the same. Everybody is different though. I used to compare myself to the greats to figure out how can I be one of the greats, not by imitation or not by flattery, but by making my own wave. In some instances, I figured out that I had to create my path, but not by taking others' individual ideas and then crafting my own, by making the material and then plastering it on this so-called dirt road, you know? So, with that in mind, we we may be humans, but we're never alike. We're never, when they say great minds think alike, they think of the aspect of leadership, domination, dictatorship, understanding emotions, not by personality, not by solace, not by taking henceforth. Hmm. This is a different direction than we usually go, but it's okay. I want to change it up a little bit. But back to what I was saying. Don't drop out of high school if you don't know what you're doing. Now, if you got stable income and you're not going to go house to house and couch surfing like I was, you know, then don't do that. All right? I was blessed enough to have family friends and have my biological mother and my father in my life, you know? Cuz most kids don't have their father in their life. And that is okay cuz if that man does not want to be in your life, don't try to force him in your life. Now, if your mom's just like a fucked up individual and she just like hides you from your father because she's a bitter baby mama, bro, don't let that impact your life. And I seen it. It's a repetitive cycle. That didn't impact me, but it impacted my father, and I see how fucked up it did him. And I guess he didn't want to repeat the cycle, but they all got their own drama. In both of my eyes, both of them are liars, so I can't trust none of them. You know, you got to know that each side of the story is only partial because it's fatigued and it's corrupted and manipulated by their biases. So you got to think. So not each story is matches. He say, she say. But back to the conversation at hand. Don't drop out of school if you don't have a plan. And the reason I never wanted a job because I didn't want to do anything that was a slave to, like, feel like it was tedious or it made me feel like a slave. But now that I'm in the real world, I wanted to do like I wanted right. If I had a job, I'd rather have a job online or over the phone, like a salesman or something, like selling Wi-Fi or some shit. But I didn't have the capabilities of doing that. I had social anxiety and all that shit, you know. But don't let that stop you from being great. And this is not no motivational speech or anything. I'm just trying to tell you deep down in the heart, because I feel like everybody says the cliche thing of keep going, strive for excellence, and don't let it get to you. But they don't know what you're going through. So why say that? It's not a fucking anime, you know? Everybody's the main character in their own life, but you got to understand they also fight their own demons. And if you don't have demons, that makes you peculiar, actually, because everybody's fucked up in the head. Maybe it's just America. Maybe if you go to a third world country and they don't have internet and they don't have cars and shit and they don't have time to recollect and think about the sense of self. Maybe that's why we're so depressed, because the consciousness. I don't think you see anybody and shoot. Nah. Yeah, Africa's pretty fucked up right now. I was gonna say Uganda, but or goddamn Egypt killing itself, but you don't truly know. It's a crazy war in Sudan right now, and I feel like nobody really knows the severity of the situation. So they just post TikToks to get their likes and their reposts, but and then they'll put a donation. I seen some fucked up shit. Some dude used the Sudan incident, well, not incident, the whole. I would call it a genocide. It's not even a war. As I say, everything is for financial gain. People die and strive for financial gain. What I said was the 3 G's, correct? I told you this place is racist. Not because the dog is barking at me, but a man of a lighter complexion has walked completely by. Did not bark not, and then when he saw me, he started barking. Can't make that up. But hey, this is just it's instinctual. That's how dogs do. They gotta protect their land. I take nothing from it. It's not racial. It's just how dogs think. I'm trolling. Anyway, what I do want to finished about, yes, he made a GoFundMe page of some sort for Sudan for the mass genocide that's going on, but it was rooted to his account and it wasn't going to the financial care he supposedly said it was going to, and it was he was pocketing on the money. um I try to spread awareness to it, but I'm not the biggest. I don't even want to call myself creator because I call it cringe or influence. I'm not the biggest artist or figurehead to speak about that, but I try to spread awareness to how that individual was doing. I think his account got taken down anyway, but I think it's pretty fucked up. Yeah, but I understand why he did it. He saw a monumental gain. Maybe he didn't have any money. He didn't have the finances to feed his family or something, and that's why he did it. But sometimes people are just greedy, so you don't never know. That's why I can never be mad at somebody that's do anything for malicious intent for monetary gain if it comes to feeding their family. And I think I compare that to an anti-villain, or yeah, an anti-villain. An anti-hero. I feel like they're more rooted in like violence and killing than like stealing and to defeat their fan. I think that's a more of an anti-villain shit. But anyway, I lost the plot. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I think the next step truly is to figure out. Cause all right, so listen, I want to break down. I usually don't tell the so-called audience that I barely have what I have going on. Not to stay mysterious, but mainly because once somebody knows your idea, they tend to take it or they'll tend to manipulate it in a malicious way. right? So so basically, the reason I started a YouTube channel in the first place, not because I bored, but I thought it would be the most easiest way than just started like just only doing music, because I seen music was so saturated. I was like, there's no point. God damn you, crow. Crows is a sign of death. They scare me. I seen like just doing straight music from SoundCloud. Yeah, maybe my music will be good enough to be on TikTok for a couple weeks. You know, it might have a little dance here and there, but I won't. I think I wouldn't be seen as in anything of substantial interest. So I was like, I'd rather me do YouTube and try to find a little social media platform for only my fans to understand what I truly talk about than only do music, because I feel like I will be overlooked. And I feel everybody wants to be the main character. Everybody got main character syndrome in some way or fashion. Honestly, you know, we tend to seek the validation that we don't actually want. We just want the attention that feeds our egos. But everybody wants to be the modern day philosopher, and I don't think that's me. But you can't have self doubt. Self doubt is a crippling addiction, just like depression and drugs. I hold y'all to it. Truly, they try to villainize the things that you think mainly because it's different. Mm. Cognitive empathy. hmm What does that truly mean? Um. Anyway, back to the conversation at hand. Everybody's gonna tell you, stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do violence, don't steal, don't rob. Sometimes you gotta do bad things to enforce the good. This is how police officers break the law to enforce the law. Isn't that crazy? I truly don't understand. You know, I used to have self-hatred in my heart because I thought that's what was the point. I thought it was good to have self-hatred to build you up. I thought hate was stronger than any other emotion to really pass you on. And by thinking that, I also hated how I looked, how I sound, how I talked. Sound and talk is basically the same thing, but you get the gist. I hated my skin color. I I had self-hatred so embedded into it to the point where it was not only called coonery or not even self-indictment, but self-pain. I used to be disgusted on myself. And I think the mental battles that I went through, I wouldn't call myself a survivor, because people tend to people tend to call survivors victims of their own fruition, right? It's either you use your so-called sadness and your pity to a power so people can pity you, so you can use that to power and overturn them, how some rulers did theirself, make them seem like they're weak and fragile to be underestimated, then to do a slick cut, how some villains are made, how some villains do, how some heroes do. It's all about the perspective of what do they see and not what they hear. You can be seen as a hero to the public and to the publicity, but deep down, you know that you are a villain. You know you are a malicious, demonic creature, so to speak, right? What's a comparison that people the boys, right? Maybe it's pretty like, I wouldn't say it's for a mature audience, but it's like it's very embedded in dark humor and pretty gritty. Like, I don't really take the jokes pretty seriously. It's not that fun, so to speak. It got a lot of sexual jokes and sexual innuendos. So the main point of the TV show, even the prequel, what is it called? Gen V. Yeah, I love Gen V. But it's, I wouldn't say love, but I like the TV show mainly because it shows a lot of pictures of mental health and powers and how the public eye is more stronger than the opinions of others. All right, look, what's the guy's name? The bro, it's right there, Homelander. Thank you. Like what? Like I had it on my tongue. I just didn't spit it out. The off-brand Superman, Homelander, right? He's seen as this patriotic being, right? This patriotic golden boy, made in the lab by birth, right? Because the whole thing is they're made in a lab and they're experimented on, but people don't know that. They think they're born naturally, which they technically are, but as a fetus they're experimented on, and then the mortality rate of unborn child are pretty high for the experiments. So Odessa, right, is an experiment to make godlike superheroes, right? Because you got a lot of so-called powered, yeah, they use it like a slur, powered individuals, right? It smells like straight pressure over here. Somebody smoking. That's individuals, right? Some of them have like horrible powers. Like some girl use her pubic hairs as like straight. I don't know. It's a horrible. Like yeah, it's horrible. Some have horrible powers, but Odessa was a plan to make a godlike being. So it was Monroe, I think, or yeah, I don't know. Monroe, the girl, she can control blood. That's a Odessa like being, and then Homelander, or the off-brand Superman. He was the first one, right? So with that, he's the so-called golden boy of America. But the TV show is really embedded in politics, so I didn't really understand it until I did a couple studies of it, until I studied like the real world comparisons. Like I didn't truly understand, and then I got some of the jokes and thought, oh, okay, that makes sense. Some things did surprise me, but how they're marketing and they're media trained, and how they always gotta put a smile. It's like it's all fake. Am I am I bleeding? It tastes bloody. Oh yeah, I'm bleeding in my mouth. But yeah, it's crazy. I know it seems like I'm hopping topic to talk, but it's all connected. If you, I don't, I have a weird mind. Everybody does in some instances or another. So, but it shows how evil somebody can truly be. But if they're media trained enough and they know how to proportionally set themselves up to look like this great being, then they know it. I feel like even kids do it. But maybe that's just like the psychopath in me or something. Like they'll tend to be like so nice and jarring and smiling like but then when you truly know them, you see they're sadistic and they're evil. Just got hit by a goddamn leaf. Oh my lord. Hey, you can tell the hair growing. It's starting to blow. Look, it couldn't do that. It used to be stiff back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I know my forehead looks big, but it's not. I got a 3 head. I have a 3 head. If I'm being generous, I have a 3 to 4 head. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna start making more. Good God, my teeth look yellow down here. But then, see, it's the coloring. I swear, I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I can't see. Also, I did YouTube and I wanted to work mainly because I wanted to pay for my own braces because I don't have insurance to pay for my braces because it's not a necessity, I guess, unless you're not unable to eat and you need like jaw surgery. And mine's basically mostly for looks, but also I feel like I'll be more confident if I had straight teeth. It's one of my insecurities. When I was younger, my insecurity was being short, but ain't nothing you can really do about that. You know, I was like 4'11" in freshman year, and then I jumped up to like what 5'6", and then I almost hit a plateau. But doctors say I still growing, but I don't believe it. But I hate when people make their heart their whole personality. Be like, I'm a short king, but I'm sexy. I'm like, bro, relax. Don't let it get to you. But then you just have those people that just make straight nothing but, I guess, what was it, like short jokes in their comments, or it'd be like a buff dude be like, and they'll be like, how tall he is. Bro's like 5'1". That's how people cope when they see somebody attain something to greatness. They try to degrade you by poking at your so-called your missing areas, your mishaps, your insecurities. So that's how it is. But if you're an individual with melanin and you're tall, intelligent, and smart, they're gonna hit you with, well, you don't have no rights. You're black. It's crazy, bro. It's people are evil. Even for same, it's the same for opposite genders. So be who you are. It's okay. Don't take it too seriously. I used to take everything too. I think that's why I was such a so-called bad child, fighting everybody, trying to misplace my anger. Little Mighty Mouse, they say. But I seen somebody that was way worse. You could tell when people say, "Oh, you don't got no father figure in your life," I take it as an insult, but I also understand what they mean by you don't have any no emotional control over your feelings, and you tend to lash out, and you have irregulated thought process. And I think that's really embedded. I don't like calling the place I live the hood because it's not. And I hate when people say hood dudes or street niggas. Like that's not what it is, bro. It's just a person that's living with their circumstances. You a retired YN. Like that shit grinds my gears, bro. I swear it does. I don't even know if I have enough space for this long ass video. Excuse my language. But I've been walking for almost 30 minutes now. But yeah, that shit grinds my gears. They were placing the system, they couldn't leave. But I was, I guess, lucky enough to be able to leave. It's either, oh my God, this is a W mistake. I would take this, but I don't have time. But it's either you stay in there until you die, or you go to jail, or you leave by sports, rapping, or smartness. It's the only way. God forbid you got a business, you trying to sell just like regular consumer items, you getting robbed and killed. But if you're the star athlete, you know, they gonna like the hood. I wouldn't even call the people that do that stuff. They gonna let you slide. I remember one day I thought I was gonna die until he recognized who I was. He said he said I can't even do it to you. I don't even think he said that, but it was something around them lines. I wasn't even that good at sports. I was dog shit. I was like straight dog shit. Everybody hated me. But I ain't let that stop me though. But now I'm on something different. I never wanted to be the nigga that relive all his high school days. Excuse my language. I'm getting too comfortable on this camera. Yeah, I never wanted to be that dude. I was scared of peaking in that area that everybody does. But people who talk about peaking in there usually peak there. So maybe that's me. But when you see evil people doing good for themselves, it kind of grinds your gear. Like, you were such a horrible person. Why are you doing so great? You know, so that's when I start to think karma is not truly real in some instances. But I'm probably gonna cut this at 30 minutes, just in case. Cause I already made 2 other videos. So yeah, I'm probably gonna cut this at 30 minutes just to see if it saves in my phone. If it doesn't, then I'm not gonna lie, we're fucked. Like, honestly, excuse my language, but we might be. But it was a great having a conversation with you in this great afternoon, since I usually talk to y'all at night. I just hope the things I said were not taken for granted and just another regular yap shit. See me as somebody that you can look up to, I guess, even though I don't want to be looked up to. Just strive for something that's better than me. Anyway, I'll catch you later, and I hope you have a great day.